This is Numbers chapter 3 with commentary. In the previous chapter, we talked about the other 11 tribes of Israel and numbering them for their armies. And the tribe of Levi was left out of that because they had a very specific job that they had to do outside of being in the armies. So, in this episode, this chapter, we're going to be covering what God has assigned for the tribe of Levi to do. This whole chapter is dedicated just to the tribe of Levi, the priests, the people doing the ministry work, and being the interceders between God and his people. So, that's what we're going to be covering today, and I'm really excited to get into it. So, catch up if you haven't already, and let's get into this.
These also are the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day that the Lord spake with Moses in Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests which were anointed, whom he consecrated to minister in the priest's office. And Nadab and Abihu died before the Lord when they offered strange fire before the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. And Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest's office in the sight of Aaron their father.
Let's stop right there and do a little bit of quick review, right? And Nahab and Abihu died before the Lord when they offered strange fire before the Lord. This was a little bit back. This was all the way back in Leviticus, the previous book, if you have seen that episode. And it covered this. Nadab and Abihu, two of Aaron's sons, were incorrectly making offerings of incense, and other offerings and stuff against the very specific commands that God instructed them to do. And it was very important that they do it exactly the way God said to, because they were in the presence of the Spirit of God and His perfection, and they were being covered by these very specific rituals and the clothing that they wore and all of that. If they fell out of line of any of that, they just naturally would be consumed by His fire and die in His presence because of their imperfection, um, meeting God's perfect righteousness. That's just how that works. We can't exist next to God because of our imperfection. So all of these things had to be done specifically in order for them to operate in the tabernacle and even stand in the presence of God. We have Jesus now for that, and we've talked about this like a million times, but they didn't have that death and resurrection yet, so they had to do all these rituals to be able to even function in the tabernacle and be the priests. Nadab and Abihu did not do things correctly. We don't know specifically what they did wrong or what the intention of their heart was when they did it, but they were consumed by fire. That was it. They were dead then. I want to talk about these two for a second. So Nadab, and we like to cover names here. Nadab's name actually, it's kind of the first definition it says is like liberal, not politically speaking, of course, but liberal as in flexible, freely giving. It mentions the word volunteering, right? So Nadab was the kind of person who was very willing to help out, and offer help and services wherever he could, and give freely out of his own will. He had a good heart to serve God. If his name is any testament to his character, he had a good heart for serving God, a willing heart to be helpful and to offer and to give, which is great. It's really too bad that he had to perish over his either negligence or blatant disobedience. Now, Abihu also had a pretty special name here. Um, Generally speaking, the definition is like a phrase that says he is a father, which is kind of ironic because he never had got to have children. But that name can also mean like father as in worshiper or a leader, and then it says like possibly like father of him with a capital H, meaning like worshiper or sort of like a leader under God, right? So his name pretty much defines what he was meant to do with his life. And it was stripped away from them a bit too soon, but this is why it's very important that we revere, respect, and fear God and obey him, because what he has commanded for us is meant for our benefit. And to go against that is harmful to us. That's why he gives us these instructions. It's not for him, it's for us. Uh, let's keep going.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near, and present them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation, to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the children of Israel, to do the service of the tabernacle. And thou shalt give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the children of Israel.
Let's talk about that there, because there's actually some really good symbolism here. Let's go back a page. What all of that was said. So you had Aaron, who was the high priest, and you had immediately his sons, the two that were alive still, and then you had all of the other Levites, all of the other priests that were under them, and they were to be given to Aaron. When it uses the word meant to minister under him, which really just means to help him out, to assist him, to be helpful, and do the things that need to be done, assisting him in functioning of the tabernacle, right? In the same way, this kind of symbolizes our purpose as a royal priesthood in service to God, because Aaron's position as the high priest was basically the intermediary between God and the people. He was the direct one. So he was essentially, in a sense, God in the flesh for his people. He was fulfilling the role of Jesus, in a sense. Obviously, not as perfectly as actual Jesus would, but that was the role of the high priest. Jesus had not died and resurrected yet, so the responsibility of being that interceder and connecting God to his people was via the high priest and this body of priests under the high priest. So these Levites were to be given to Aaron, right, as we are given to Christ, and then given assignments to assist him, to serve him, to help him function in the stability of the body of our faith, and just to do the services, to help people out, to honor God, to do all of the things properly. That is a big responsibility that we have. We are given to Christ in service. As he was given to us in service, we are now given to him when we choose him, and we are meant for service as well as that body of believers. So very important that we understand our responsibilities here. And we're going to kind of look at what that looks like, or what that looked like for them, and maybe what that can kind of look like for us now. What does it kind of mean to be in service to Christ in terms of working within the tabernacle, which, as we've already discussed in the previous chapter, is the body of believers, the tabernacle, and all people in general. So uh, we'll just keep going and see where it leads us.
Him out of the children of Israel. And thou shalt appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, And I, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that openeth the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites shall be mine, because all the firstborn are mine. For on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am the Lord.
So this kind of explains that sort of hierarchy there is, and in a lot of cultures where you see the importance of the firstborn. God's literally saying here, the firstborn of everything, animal and people, are mine specifically. Like all all people and creatures are God's, but the firstborn specifically is meant to be given to him for his service, to do for him, to honor him. And of course, that's why they would give the firstborn of an animal, or rather the best that they had. I think it was usually like a young animal for an offering. But the point being is that the firstborn is God's, and God claims it immediately. Um, and and here's the thing, rather than taking the firstborn of all the children of Israel, he's taking all of the tribe of Levi, not just the firstborn of Levi, all of the tribe of Levi, all of the sons, to his service, and treating them as if they are all firstborn. From Levi are all the firstborn. In a sense, what is being said here is that when we become followers of Christ, when we enter that relationship with God, when we enter that status as that royal priesthood that we are granted, he takes all of us rather than taking that, preferential treatment, but he picks out those people specifically. Um, and then we all become as like that appointed person, and are given that role and for that service. So he took the entire tribe of Levi as opposed to taking every firstborn. And so he was saying, because I've taken that whole tribe, they belong to me. Like, they may have been born to whoever, and they may have had, whatever goals or anything, but they're mine for my service. That's what God's saying there. And when we enter that relationship with him, we also belong to him. It is it's not just a matter of believing and having a relationship. We are the property of God, physically and spiritually. This is not slavery, but this is returning to our source, our origin point, returning to it, and giving to God what is his, what he is owed.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, Number the children of Levi after the house of their fathers, by their families, every male from a month old and upward shalt thou number them. And Moses numbered them according to the word of the Lord, as he was commanded. And these were the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon, and Kohath, and Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families, Libni and Shimei. And the sons of Kohath by their families, Amram and Izhar, Hebron and Uziel. And the sons of Merari by their families, Mali and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. Of Gershon was the family of the Libnites, and the family of the Shimeites. These are the families of the Gershonites. Those that were numbered of them, according to the number of all the males, from a month old and upward, even those that were numbered of them, were 7,500. The families of the Gershonites shall pitch behind the tabernacle westward. And the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites shall be Eliasaph, the son of Lael.
Let's look at the name Eliasaph, since he is the chief of these Gershonites and those families in that area. Eliasaph. Let's find it. I'm gonna find. Here he is, Eliasaph, and that name means God is gatherer. Yeah, we've talked about this name before. Eliasaph was a name mentioned in among one of the other tribes of Israel in one of the armies. So we're talking about God as gatherer. So another name meaning like God is their provider. So again, something important to learn. And we talked about that in the sense of what it meant and how to interact with people. And one of the things that we remember is that God is our provider, and we don't have to worry about that, those sort of things. That whatever God gives us, and however much we have, is what we need, and it is enough because God has given it to us, and we no longer have to worry about having and not having. God is in control of that over us when we form that relationship with Him. We cling to Him, having that trust in Him. Gives that provision. So we're seeing the names of the priests also having that significance here. So these are things that we can remember in our spiritual interactions as well as our physical interactions with each other. What we can internalize, what we can remember as key tenets in our spiritual relationship with God. Let's keep going here.
And the charge of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation shall be the tabernacle, and the tent, the covering thereof, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the hangings of the court, and the curtain for the door of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and the cords of it for all the service thereof. And of Kohath was the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Izharites, and the family of Hebronites, and the family of the Uzzielites. These are the families of the Kohathites. In the number of all the males from a month old and upward were 8,600, keeping the charge of the sanctuary. The families of the sons of Kohath shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle southward. And the charge of the house of the fathers of the families of the Kohathites shall be Elizaphan the son of Uzziel.
All right, Elizaphan, son of Uzziel, is next on the list to look at. Elizaphan. Elizaphan or Elizaphan, meaning God of treasure. Interesting. So there was God is gatherer, God of provision, and it means God of treasure. It also could mean God has protected. So treasured as in cherished, as in treated as valuable, extremely valuable. So God has protected, or God has treasured. Is God of treasured things. We are treasured. We are protected by God. God holds a great level of esteem for us and values us. So not only do we belong to God, we are very precious to Him. We're not something for Him to use. We're something that He cherishes and loves and takes care of and treats with a great deal of just of care and admiration. He loves us. So this is a message here in our spiritual relationship with Him that just how much He values us. It really can't be described in words, but the idea is that He is a God of treasure, and we are the treasure of God. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
And their charge shall be the ark, and the table, and the candlestick, and the altars, and the vessels of the sanctuary wherewith they minister, and the hanging, and all the service thereof. And Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and have the oversight of them that keep the charge of the sanctuary. Of Merari was the family of the Marlites, and the family of the Mushites. These are the families of Merari. And those that were numbered of them, according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward, were 6,200. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of Merari was Zuriel, the son of Abihail. These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward. And under the custody and charge of the sons of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the...
Let's go back. I think I overlooked a name here. Yes, Zuriel. I think I missed that part. We'll go back and read the rest. I want to point out, as we are looking through this, that you're seeing that each of these little families of these Levites are given different roles in regards to the tabernacle, and they're all covering very specific things. It should be noted that God has a very specific purpose for each and every one of us. And we often work together if we have similar roles, but it is important to remember that not one thing is more important than another, and not one thing is, cherished more than another, because every aspect of the tabernacle is something that God had specifically mentioned, like the type of wood and how everything should be put together and how the pillars should be set up and the covering over the tent, and then also like covering the altars and the table and the candles and all the stuff for the rituals. All of that's important, and they're all equally important because God was very specific in every detail. So when we are operating in God and doing whatever He has to do for us, we are operating in a very specific detail that He wants covered in a very specific way. And He's not, and you're not getting the shaft. You're not getting something that's unimportant. He's not just, sending you to do whatever to keep you busy. If He has you doing something, it's very important and it serves a very specific purpose. And it altogether operates in the functioning of the tabernacle or the body of believers. If we think about um, just an example, think about the covering of the tabernacle. What could that mean in our case? Maybe there are some people that are just made to be like, look for people who need clothing, cover them up. People who need some sort of shelter or some sort of clothing. They're people in need, and some people are meant to take care of that. And then in other places, set up the table, uh, provide food for people. And this is just acts of service to other people, which is a big important aspect of God. But you're getting the idea. We all serve very specific purposes, and they kind of work together to form a cohesive unit and a team. And they're all very important. Now, we were looking for Uziel, right? No, we weren't looking for Uziel. We were looking for his name was Zuriel. Zuriel. His name was Zuriel. There's a lot of names in here. Da-da-da-da-da. Yes, as a fan. Yeah, Zuriel. And Zuriel means rock of God. Okay, so we had a person named previously, he was named God of the Rock, and this person is named Rock of God. Okay, cool. So again, more talk of stability and a foundation. Um, Actually, the direct definition means my rock is El meaning God. So saying, hey, God is not just He's not just the God of the rock. God is the rock. God is our foundation. God is our stability. A name that reminds us of that. So, uh, pretty cool.
These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward, and under the custody and charge of the sons of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and the sockets thereof, and all the vessels thereof, and all that serveth thereto, and the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. But those that encamp before the tabernacle toward the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary for the charge of the children of Israel. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. all that were numbered of the Levites, which Moses and Aaron numbered at the commandment of the Lord, throughout their families, all the males from a month old and upward, were 22,000. And the Lord said unto Moses, Number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel, from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names.
Before we go on, it did mention the whole number of the Levites being 22,000, and or at least of those numbers of 22,000. And we talked about how 2 was symbolic of a meaningful and deep and intimate union, usually characterized in marriage, but it could also be a very close friendship, or it could be just a very close bond between two people. And it's sort of that like deeper relationship and intimacy that we have with God. God wants to have that sort of relationship with us. At the end of the day, it's just us as individuals and Him. He's working with us. He sees what's going on with us, and we have that relationship with Him, and it's very personal and very intimate just between the two of them. So it seems very fitting that the tribe of Levi, who are the priests, people who are having very deep spiritual connections with God, to, be categorized by the number 2. I just think that's interesting.
And thou shalt take the Levites for me, I am the Lord, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Israel. And Moses numbered, as the Lord commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel.
I just want to say this again. I want to go back to this again, because I don't think I covered it enough. Thou shalt take the Levites for me, I am the Lord, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstlings among the cattle of the children of Israel. The idea is that the idea of being the firstborn is being of a status of higher importance, right? But God is saying, I will take all of those who are willing to have faith and believe in me and have a relationship with me on a spiritual level. I will take all of those over the most important people and the most important things in the world. It doesn't matter if you're firstborn. It doesn't matter what your status is. It doesn't matter how wealthy or powerful you are. I don't care about those things as much as I care about having a deep and personal relationship with a person. That's what God is saying. He's saying, I'm picking the tribe of Levi. I'm picking the ones who are my priests. I'm picking the ones who are having that deep connection with me, the ones I'm going to work through directly to minister to the other people. I'm singling them out. I'm singling out the people who will follow me, believe in me, who will love me as I love them. That's what God is saying about us here. If we choose Jesus, He picks us out. He picks us out among everyone else, the firstborn and the most important. He picks us out because we are devoting ourselves to Him. We belong to Him. And God is saying, you are mine, and nothing can take you away from me. I am the Lord. I have spoken it. You belong to me. That's a powerful thing, that He would pick you out and claim you for Himself in that very personal and deep way and have that unity with you. That's what He wants. Let's keep going.
Of Israel. And Moses numbered, as the Lord commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and all the firstborn males by the number of names, from a month old and upward, of those that were numbered of them, were 22,263.
Did you see? Did you see all the firstborn males by the number of names, from a month old and upward, those that were numbered of them, 22,203 score. That's 3 20s and 13. A lot of twos in there. Deep connection, spiritual intimacy, close relationship with God. Very crucial and very characteristic of the purpose of being amongst the tribe of Levi, of being the priesthood. Now, did they always have that deep and personal connection with him? No. But they were made to. We were made to. Right? It's incredible.
4 and 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine, I and the Lord. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 213 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites, thou shalt even take 5 shekels apiece by the poll. After the shekel of the sanctuary shalt thou take them. The shekel is 20 gerahs. And thou shalt give the money, wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed, unto Aaron and to his sons. And Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborn of the children of Israel took he the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses.
We were bought with a price. Just as God sent money to have those people for himself, he paid a price to have us unto him in a very spiritual way through Jesus' death. And then in the resurrection, we have eternal life. We were bought. We are not our own. It says so in the Bible. We belong to God. We are his property. We are treasured and valued. And I know we're making it sound like we're objects, but we belong to God in a very literal way. This isn't just a metaphor. And we like to push the idea that we've chosen this relationship with God and this and that, and then this is an ultimate free will decision. There comes a point where we have to recognize that we didn't choose God. God chose us, and he paid a price to have us. We belong to him. It's not a free will thing that can come and go, whether we like it or not, whether we want it or not. We're God's. And not having that relationship with him obviously is detrimental. But the fact of the matter is that God can do with us what he will, and he can take us, and he's brought us into this world, and he can take us out, and he can do as he sees fit because we're his. We're a part of him. We have his essence in us. We have his breath in us. We are a part of God, and we belong to God as his property. And he was willing to pay for what was already his so that he could have us back. All right? That's how much we mean to him. That's what we're talking about when we're saying treasure. And he gave a very valuable price in his son Jesus. That's a very valuable price that he paid. That's how much he values us. He's the God of treasures. He treasures us like this. Recognize that you are not your own free will agent as much as we want to be, as much free will as we want to have, and make it like that we're choosing God. This is not a gift that we're giving to God. When we follow him, we're simply accepting the fact that we owe ourselves to him. This isn't something he's gaining. This is something that was already his that he's reclaiming. And he had to pay a price for it, which he really shouldn't have because we belonged to him in the first place, but he was willing to do it. He was willing to do it. Just things to think about. So that's chapter 3. And I think the key takeaways from this are that A, we belong to God. Physically and spiritually, we are his, and we were bought with a price. And B, we were meant and made by God for the purpose of his service, to serve him and to minister to others and to take care of each other. Those are the key takeaways that we need to learn from this. And I have to motivate myself on the daily to get work done and remind myself that I belong to God and that I'm doing this for Him, and He's the most important thing. That's the only way I'm keeping myself doing this, honestly, because I've always struggled with motivation, but it's helped a lot. And I hope that if you're struggling with something, that you can put that motivation in you as well. You belong to God, and you have a purpose to fulfill. You got a job to do. So let's keep doing that together. That's all I've got for you then. God bless, and go in peace.